Hey friends, and welcome back to Devil's Advocate, the critical thinking channel. In our community, we like to talk openly about things that are going on in girl world, and we can all talk to each other, like adults and human beings. It's a really lovely space. So if you're not already liked and subscribe this channel, please do. I would love to have you in our community. We'd love to hear your thoughts and discuss it all. We talk about the reactors, we talk about girl world and things that are going on in general. So please do consider liking and subscribing. That would be amazing. Before I start this video, there is something that I do want to talk about just briefly. This could be a little trigger warning for anybody, but I really want the reaction channels to stop referring to DV, DA, SA, or anything to do with that category of things, T. Because not only are you desensitizing whole communities and people to the seriousness of those situations in people's lives, you are also it's very being derogatory and not very nice to the people who have survived situations like that. I have a few people in my comments who talk about their experiences, and I am so proud of you for being open about it. I'm so proud of who you've become because of it, and that you're even able to speak out about your experiences. It shows other DV survivors, or that they're not alone. And coming from a DV survivor myself, it just makes me feel like I'm being undermined, like my own experience isn't valid. And I am telling you all right now that your experiences are very valid. Like, what you have been through, your journey, how you decide to talk about it, how you coped with it, and the struggles you've overcome or are overcoming because of it are very important. Nothing that happened to you was your fault in any way, and it's all ridiculous to be calling something that is so painful to a lot of people, like physically painful, emotionally painful, mentally painful. I just can't believe just how blasé these creators are going around calling it tea. But they're setting it back like 50 years, really, if you think about it. With the Me Too movement and everything else that's been going on, women for decades have really struggled to get their voices heard when it comes to their experience with DV, and for a whole community to be calling it tea, and people like Hector Kana basically calling someone who's had an SA experience pathetic. It's not on at all. And if any of them are watching, please use your words carefully when it comes to people who've survived such horrific things, because it's really upsetting me. I imagine it's upsetting other survivors, and I just stop with it now and have some respect for the people in the community and people who survivors that aren't in your communities. They've been through enough without you kind of making it seem like it's nothing to have gone through something like that. So yeah, little rant over. I just wanted to say that, and I do want to thank the people in my community who have told their stories. I have heard you. I've been through similar things, and I'm telling you now, it's not easy to get over. It's not something that you can just throw away and pretend it didn't happen. It affects people long term, for a very long time, and there isn't always the help out there. So if you are getting help for recovering from something like that, it doesn't matter if you were in that relationship for 10 minutes, 10 hours, or 10 years. The mental effect it has on you can last a long time, and nobody should have to go through that. Nobody should be treated that way, and the fact that somebody has treated you that way is on them and not on you at all. And I will not sit here and have my own experiences be invalidated by creators in girl world who are paying people for their DV stories just so they can make money off them. That's just, it's not happening. But anyway, little rant over. Sorry about that. It's just been really bugging me. I really wanted to get it off my chest, and yeah, I just want the survivors who are in my community to know that this is a safe place, and I will not be having that kind of talk going on in here at all. So anyway, yes, back to the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is that Studio Deetz brought out a video yesterday to discuss the Discord situation and things that have been going on. Basically, in her video, the short version is that she kind of said that there's nothing in that Discord that she wouldn't have said on her channel, which is funny because she called someone else's content crap, but like refused to kind of acknowledge that she'd actually said that, and doesn't seem to think that there's a big enough issue with that. I really hope she reevaluates that and just thinks that through, because it obviously is something that's big. You know, when people create something and somebody like calls their video crap, like they're obviously going to take that a bit personally because they're creating something from their own hearts and their own souls, and whether you like it or not, that's fine. But to say something like that about a video in a group chat from someone that's not even anything really to do with it anymore, it's just wild. So yeah, she kind of acknowledged that, but she also did mention that she's getting a lot of DMs, very like homophobic DMs, transphobic DMs, you know, just some very nasty bigotry comments going towards her. I mean, by all means, criticize her for what she said in the Discord, criticize her for the way she's handling the situation, because I think she's handling it poorly, and she either genuinely doesn't understand what she's done wrong, which is what she keeps saying, or she's just trying to pull an Amber and just pretend that, you know, it didn't happen and blame everybody else. Either way, that's fine, but to be leaving her comments like that is just, that's not okay at all. But she did say something that's very interesting. She said, like, that it's crazy how one word in one comment she made in a Discord, the word crap, about somebody else's video, has caused people in droves to send her so much hate. And I really hope she really thinks about what she said then, how words affect people, because, like, that is Amber Lynn's life. Like, anything that comes out of any of these reaction channels, she's, like, how many reaction channels there are on Amber Lynn? Like, a lot. So all those people in those reaction channels who, like, are watching it, so they have a reason to have a go at Amber Lynn. Just imagine, like one comment she makes and there are like 40 reaction channels talking about it. Of course, those people in the comments and the people who follow those channels are going to rush to Amber Lynn's live streams, her DMs, like her comment section, everything, and just like berate her for it. So like it's on like a magnified amount than what Studio Deetz has got for one comment. So I think she really needs to think about like how damaging words can be, and like when she is talking about Amber Lynn and the situation, whatever's going on in Girl World at the time, that she thinks about how she's wording that and how she's coming across, because at the end of the day, whether they like it or not, these creators do have a responsibility to the people they're talking about as well, for them not to be doxxed and not to be harassed by people. And they say at the beginning they give out that disclaimer, but like we all know that disclaimer is bullshit, really. We know that it's just to cover their own asses. They don't actually care if Amber's getting death threats or being called names or whatever, but maybe they'll start caring now they've seen the backlash of this, and just be a bit more mindful of the phrasings and words they are using. And I know the ankle wasn't in that group chat, but I do think he needs to kind of stop with the cat unaliving story, unless he's actually was there and saw Amber physically unalive a cat, or there's footage of that. I've said it before, like, until then, it needs to stop. Like, all the hate needs to stop, regardless of who it is and regardless of what they've done, because at the end of the day, it says more about the people spreading the hate than it does the person who is problematic, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't make you any better than them by calling them names and directing insults and potential lies towards that person. So yeah, I really hope Studio Deetz like sits down and really thinks about how this has affected her, and how possibly things she says affect Amber Lynn and the girls in Girl World, specifically Amber Lynn, really, but yeah, the girls in Girl World in general. The second thing I want to talk about is Charlie Gold has released a video. It was 3 hours long, and honestly, like, my attention span is just like not great. I really struggle to watch 3 hours of a video. There was nothing really new in there said. It was kind of the things we have already said again and again and again, that Rachel, like, is not really being accountable for what she said and done. There weren't any extra screenshots or anything being thrown around. And yeah, she talked about like how Rachel had gone too far to get the DV story from Emily. And yeah, that just how the whole thing was unethical, how, like, you know, it's hard to believe what Rachel is saying when you see physical evidence of the opposite in the Discord chat. She talked about how, like, she'd spoken to people before but not said anything about what they've said to her, and like tried not to push like too far or get too involved with stuff. You know, like, she name dropped quite a lot of people who had sent her information but said, but I would never share that because that's not who I am, and blah blah blah. But even talking about that is kind of sharing that. So even though she didn't share specific things, the fact that she's insinuated she has all this information, yeah, like, she didn't need to do that. Yeah, nothing really new was said, to be honest, not in my opinion anyway. I mean, by all means, go and watch it, and if there's something I missed, please let me know. But I just felt like it was already stuff we'd heard before from other creators. It was all the same stuff about, like, not paying for information, not paying feeders, not getting involved with like people we watch exes and stuff like that. She then went on to Rachel's actual video where she was talking about the screenshots, and she did mention one screenshot where Rachel had pointed out a word and was like, if this gets unblurred, I'm going to be furious, blah blah blah. And she made a valid point. She was like, why would you bring attention to that at all? Because now people, there are actively like Reddits and subreddits and stuff where people are actually looking for the screenshots to find out what that word is. So if anything, something that would have meant nothing and nobody would probably have mentioned has now become like a massive thing that people are trying to now hunt down and trying to get involved in Rachel's life to find out what that is, which almost sounds like Rachel's now the new Amber Lynn Reid, which is very wild. And yeah, I just think now hopefully, like, Rachel's actually paid Beck the money. Well, she showed a screenshot of it, but for me, until, I think I said in my community post, until Beck physically says that she's got that money, I'm still not sure, like, what to believe. That sounds really bad, and then that in itself in my head clarifies, like, that I don't trust Rachel enough to watch her content again. Yeah, so we'll see what happens from now. Like, you know, I said before, like, Hector Kana made like a statement. It meant nothing, so we won't go into that. I personally think now it's time just to get back into Girl World, get back into what's going on with Amberlynn, and hopefully people have learnt their lessons and will not overstep in that situation. I certainly won't be. Like, I don't care to talk to anybody who's involved in Amberlynn's life at all. I'm just going to watch the videos and comment on the videos and do retro reacts and stuff like that. Because I don't personally feel it's necessary. Because even though we see what we see, like, there's probably is still a lot of stuff we don't know about her, and we don't know about these other people that they have going on in their lives. And to be honest, it's none of our business. I know there's a lot of stuff about Amber that has potentially been problematic or has been problematic and obviously affected previous partners in her life, and that they have their rights to have their stories heard or whatever, and they've done that on their own channels with in their own words, and that's fine. Like, I don't, like, if people are willing to share their stories in such a way, then I don't really have a problem with people talking about that. That's fine. But if people are not sharing their stories on their own, then they're not stories to be shared, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm sorry about this. This has been like a bit of a rant video, but like, I was just thinking about it then when I was watching Charlie Gold, and I was watching her call it tea. I was watching Rachel call it tea, and it just really, I don't know, triggered something in me that just, it's not okay. Like, it's definitely not tea. It's a very valid, serious situation that's still not being taken seriously, like, in the real world that's not Girl World. Like, the amount of people I know who've been through DV who have been to the police and just been like almost laughed off like it's nothing. Like, and like, it's terrible. It's terrible that even in this time, even with all of the protests and awareness of DV, we still have this going on, and we're still fighting it every single day. And I think Girl World needs to address it seriously or not at all. That's just my view on it. But yeah, so that's kind of the update for now. Sorry, it's been a bit of a heavier video. I just really wanted to get that point across. And again, to all the survivors out there, like, you should be very proud of yourselves for getting as far as you have. And there is always people to help you through that. And you will get better, and you will get there. Just look after yourself, do it in your own time, look after your own mental health and well-being. And I will speak to you all in the next video. Thank you for joining me for this. Thank you if you made it to the end of my rant, and I apologise again. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel. I would love to have you here. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the Girl World situations we cover, and if there's any other situations that you'd like me to cover, or like any suggestions for retro reacts, please write them in the comments. I would love to read them and look into them. That would be amazing. And thank you again to this amazing community we building. Like, I've got over 80 subs now. Like, I did not expect that. I didn't expect the 50, so I'm pretty chuffed about that. So thank you so much to everybody who's subscribed already to my channel and commented on my videos. It's just, I appreciate it so much. And yeah, I'll speak to you next time. Thank you.